Redirecting YouTube. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, everyone, we're at a point in our studies where we have come to the conclusion of the book of YAH, which means, and he called. The last two Torah portions that we've read is called Bahar Sinai, and the second part of that was called Bakukothai. And basically, Bahar Sinai is the place in which the Most High has given instructions to the prophet Moshe to continue to tell Israel what his mishpatim is, which is his judgments and his decrees. That's what Kok means, but my is this part right here. That's my, meaning Yah possessed these are his. And of course, other people, other nations, other types of people, they have their own Kukothai. So the term Kukothai can apply not only just to what the Most High has said, but it applies to any decrees or rulings from anyone else. That can actually be from your parents. It can actually be from the government in which you're under. It could be from, an organization. It could be any of those things. This in particular Torah portion, or they call it a double. And the reason why, let me let you know, the reason why there's two portions here, or that we had to read two of them, is simply because Bahar Sinai, which is the Mount Sinai, was in chapter number 25 all the way to chapter number 26, verse number 3. So it was very short, okay? And so the remaining one is from 26, 3 all the way to the end of, I wish this pen would operate, to 27, the end of 27. So this is the reason why. So anytime you're reading a Torah portion and it seems like, one is a little bit shorter than the other, like, only like a chapter or two, then you're going to read the next one as well. That one's going to be short as well. So that's what they call a double portion. Okay. So this was a double portion this week. We had a pretty extensive study this week talking about energy and talking about flow and talking about frequency. And so let's get into a little bit more in depth. I told you I was going to talk to you about more about Yovel, which I am in just a moment. But I wanted for us to understand something, and, from the get-go, is that you and I, okay, are Yah's slaves. You and I are his servants. Now, I'm not contradicting myself when I say that we're not in service to the Most High, okay? Because we found out earlier this week that you and I cannot be in service, okay? We're not in service at this time, okay? We're not in service. It's a lot different than what we understand, okay? We are his servants. We belong to children of Israel, all 12 tribes. They belong to Yah, okay? Anytime we see a yod on the end of any noun, okay, any noun, it means possession, okay? And the reason why is because the yod represents what? And from an agricultural or anatomic definition, what is it? What does the yod represent in Hebrew?
A hand.
A hand, okay? The hand, okay? So anytime you put your hands on something, just like, the priest would have put his hand on top of the goat's head and the people would transmit and put their hand on top of that sacrifice, or they found somebody that they had to stone to death. They had to put their hand on them, meaning you've taken possession of this, like they belong to you at this moment because you have identify with it. Okay, so the hand has to do with possession. So the Most High is letting us know in this Torah portion, this is something very, very important, that they're my servants. And I took them from the land of Mizraim. I am your Elohim Yahweh. There's also other passages in our Torah portion that says that the Most High brought us out of Mizraim to make sure that you and I would be what they would call Yashar. And Yashar means to be upright and to be righteous. So what he did is he broke the yoke off our necks in order for us to serve him. So we can't serve Yah in what they would call slavery or service to someone else. The book of Isaiah calls us in chapter number 49 that you are a servant of tyrants. You're hated and you're serving other people. You and I cannot serve Yahweh when we are in bondage. His servitude that we have for him is one of the best types of service on the face of the planet, because you will be free to worship. You will be free to live. You will be free, but you have to follow guidelines of your master. We have a master. So when Yah says that you're my servants, he's letting you know I'm your master. And as a master, I demand respect. Okay? And as a king, I demand fear. Okay? As a father, I demand honor. And as a husband, I demand affection and loyalty and faithfulness. This is the reason why Yah gives all these descriptions of a father, a king, a master, a husband. Okay? So from the top, we need to understand that. So this Torah portion has to resonate with us from this viewpoint. Okay? Because the master is telling us what he's going to do. This week we learned about Yoval. Sometimes it can be pronounced Yovel, sometimes it's Yoval. Okay. And what it means is a flowing of wealth, a flowing of water, or a flowing of a sound. Okay. We're going to chop this word down a little bit. You're going to see all the different words that are connected to it. We also know that Yoval has a time to do with being set free. Okay, being allowed to go back and to be restored back to your original position or your original state. So whatever wealth that one may have had before and they lost it due to the circumstances in their life, they're able to now come back and to have that restored and bring them back to their original state. Okay. The Most High has told us that he wants an instrument of what they will call a shofar, okay, to be used in this time of making an announcement, a proclamation to the people. That shofar was supposed to be sounded across the whole entire land, not just in one city, but all cities. So what it was this resonating, flowing sound that was going throughout the whole entire land. And what you do with a shofar is you blow air through it, and it makes a very beautiful and a bright and a very cheerful sound. And of course, I didn't have a picture of the shofar here, but it's a beautiful horn, and it's used as a trumpet to make this sound. Okay, so there's a reason why he uses that for Yoval. in the word Yoval, I'll go back to it right here. You will see, let me see. You will see these letters right here, the Bet and the Lamed. That is going to be the root of the actual word Yoval. Okay. So with Yoval, there's several words that are part of this word, meaning, for example, Yoval is what they will call a child root. Okay. That's just one of the words in that family. So like I told you, in Hebrew, there's, a parent root and there's a child root. Okay. So in a child root, there are 3 letters for a child, and sometimes for a adopter root, there'll be 4. Okay. But here is what I wanted to show you about this word. Here's another word that's connected to this Yoval, this freedom, this sound, this flowing. It means a land flowing with substance, which is the earth. So this is another word that's used for the earth. We have our word eretz, but also too, this is talking about how the land itself is flowing with substance. And so the substance that the Most High is, letting the land flow with are the grains, the trees, the fruit, all these different things. And he made this on the 3rd day. Okay. So Yahweh, our Elohim, is bringing you into a good land. Now, this is found in the book of Deuteronomy. Okay. And it's in chapter number 11. Of those of you who want to go and read the chapter, you can go and read it. Okay. It says it's a good land. He's bringing you into a good land, a land flowing with streams, springs, water welling up from its depths in the valleys and on the hillsides. It is a land of wheat and barley, grapevines, fig trees, pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, which are the 7 divine blessings of the land, which is the wheat, the barley, the grapevines, the fig trees, pomegranates, the olive oil, and the honey. And it's a land where you will eat food in abundance and lacking nothing in it. A land where the stones contain iron and the hills can be mined for copper. Okay, so it's very rich in minerals. And you will eat and be satisfied, and you will bless Yahweh your Elohim for the good land that he has given you. This is one of the things that when you're religious, you don't want to see. You don't want to see this. Okay. You want to see, an imaginary place where you go and all you do is fly around with wings, and you're not involved in the earth. You're not involved in the environment. You're not involved in the place in which Yah has made for you and designated you. You don't want to be able to use your hands. Okay. You don't want to use your hands to do the sowing and to do the harvesting and do the reaping and to do the pruning and all these sorts of things, the things that we talked about, where the Most High said, I'm going to give you the Shabbats, which we talked about earlier this week. We're not going to discuss that today. Okay. So the goal for us is to go back to this place, because this is the place where the Most High has designated for his servants. Okay. I know a lot of people don't like to use the term slave, but slave and service and servant in Hebrew is exactly the same. Okay, so Yah says that you're my servants. He's saying you're my slaves. Okay, I'm your master. I brought you to my land. The land is mine. It's not yours. Okay, everything that you receive is because I gave it to you. Okay, and because when I did give it to you, you weren't thankful. That's the reason why I put you out. And that's in Deuteronomy chapter number 28, verse number 46 through 48. Okay, so this land is the goal. And in the land, the Most High told us in the Torah portion this week that if we were to obey what he says, that he would give us showers. Okay. The showers, of course, has to do with rain. And there's several different words that have to do with rain. Okay. One is called Geshem, which we're talking about right now. And Geshem has a root in it called Sham, right here. Okay. And that is the root for the word Shamayim. Okay. That's Shamayim. So Shamayim has to do with the heavens. Okay. Let me write it up here. Sha ma yim. Okay. Shamayim. Pen's going crazy. Forgive me, you guys. Shamayim. And the Sham, wow, amazing. The Sham has to do with the place. That's what Sham means. Okay. And the place where this water is coming from is called the skies. And the Most High has named the skies Shamayim. Okay. The Shah means two. This letter right here. This letter right here means two. Okay. So there's two what? There's two places. Okay. So up in the sky is that's the first place of the waters. Okay. And the second place is down on the earth. So there's two sets of waters. So when you're looking at the sea and you're looking at the rivers and you're looking at that, you're thinking that that's the only water. No, above us is the second waters. Okay. So there's two waters up there. So this is where the rain is coming from. How does this connect to us? Well, Yah says, if you follow my laws, which are my kukim, and faithfully observe my commandments, I will grant you rains in their season, so that the earth shall yield its produce and the trees of the field their fruit. So the connection between Yah's laws and his commandments is directly connected to the environment. Is connected directly to the showers. Within that word that we have Yoval, I'll try to write it right here if I can get some cooperation. Yod, and then a Wa right here. Yoval is our root ball. And ball means to flow. Okay, that's why we have it for Taval, which is the earth, which is a flow of everything that's coming through there. But also this is a flowing of any substance, okay, which can be air or water or wealth or whatever it may be. And so for the land that you're about to possess, okay, to enter and possess, it is not like the land of Egypt. So Yah's giving some indication here that, hey, listen, where you just left is nothing like the land that you're going to. So you came from a land, and there the grain had you sowed had to be watered by your own labors, like a vegetable garden. So what Yah is saying is, like, I'm not going to bring you to a land that you're going to have to go back and forth and get water, and you're going to have to do a whole bunch of labor to do that, which is a lot of work. Okay, going back and forth to the river, down to your garden, back to the river, down to your garden, back to the river. And that, you know, the weight of the water, the time, the energy, the effort that's being put into this is causing you a lot of stress. Okay. Also, too, Yah is saying that the land that you're about to go to, okay, this in particular land that I've chosen, and it's my land that you're about to cross in and possess, a land of hills and valleys, it soaks up its water from the rains of heaven. So the Most High now has told us that even in your word, Yovel, it means also connected to flood. Okay, so the Most High, the way that agriculture was done back there in his land was that the hills and the valleys, they soaked up the rain, versus you having to go and back and forth and going, you know, to your garden. So this is a whole nother setup. This is a whole nother system. And so Yah has set it up to where the lands would actually flood. So I'm going to flood. That's why the Geshem is a violent type of rain. It's a showers. So if you do what I'm asking you to do, I'm going to flood out the land. And when I flood the land, the hills, the valleys, and everything is going to soak up all the water. And that's going to be used as your cistern. That's going to be used as your water supply. Okay, that I'm going to do. versus other places that you were at, it didn't work like that. Okay. Why is this land important? Because it is a land in which Yahweh, our Elohim, he looks after. He's going to look after this land. It's his. And he always keeps his eye on it from year to year, right? From the beginning of the year to the end of the year. He's constantly watching, and that's where this word ayin is used, because Yah has an eye on it all the time. That means he's constantly watching the land, okay? Because it's his, all right? And so he's always watching it. He's looking after it. He's looking after it for its good. He's looking at it after it so it can produce what it needs to produce. He's looking after it so it can flow. And this is somewhere where he brought us to, okay? He told us that the land is not to be sold in perpetuity because the land belongs to me. You are only foreigners and temporary residents with me. Talking to Israel, the sons of Israel. The land is not ours, it's his. It's his, okay? The lament, again, is the shepherd's staff, meaning 2 or 4, and the yod right here, again, means my, okay? It's for me, or me, meaning I am the possessor. I possess everything, okay? It's mine. So why do I want to bring you there? Why does the Most High want to bring these people, 1.8 million people, with this idea of idolatry and worshiping other gods, the people who just came back from being treated real harshly and being violent towards one another? Why is he bringing them to this beautiful land? Yah wants us to live in such a way that when you get to this land, Yah says, if you then obey the commandments that I enjoin to you unto this day, loving your Elohim and serving him with all your heart and your soul, kol meaning with everything that you have, I will grant the rain for your land in season. There's an early rain and a late rain, okay? And again, you can see our root word is in there again. That means to flow. And when you don't have any flow, you don't have any produce. That means you're not going to have any grain. You're not going to have any wine. You're not going to have any oil. You're not going to have any grass. You're not going to have any cattle. You're not going to have any of these things. But if you do, if you obey what I'm saying, I will give you the rain in the season. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what does this have to do with us? Well, Yah is bringing this to our attention because he wants us to know that obedience to him causes blessing. Okay. And our blessings right now are not in our land, right? The rain also is connected to the Torah. So if we keep the Torah, the Most High says that I'm going to direct you. I'm going to show you. Okay. So what has happened to us, just like what has happened to the land, our behaviors and how we act and who we are is a reflection of what type of land we are. Remember, the Most High has made us out of the what? Where did he take your body from?
The dust.
He took us from the dust. Okay. And he formed us. And he shaped us and he molded us. And this is the reason why we have this connection to the earth. Okay. So all these concepts of the grain and the new wine and the produce have to resonate within us. If we would do what Yah says, then he says, I will give the rain. Rain is necessary, okay, for the growth and development. That's what the produce is. It's the growth of development of the fruits and the crops from the flooding waters. If there's no water, everyone, then there's death. If there's no water, there's no fruits, there's no crops. Okay, there's no cleansing, there's nothing. There's no produce, okay? He also tells them to take care not to be lured away to serve other gods and bow down to them. I put the Hebrew here because I wanted you to kind of understand about when he says this about these gods. When he says that I don't want you to pay thak, okay? This one right here means to open and it means to be spacious. So what I'm telling you is I don't want you to give room. I don't need you to make any space in your, they said here, lured away to serve, to take care. But here is saying that your heart or your mind. I don't need you to make any space in your mind for anybody else. You see, I need you to guard yourselves lest you are open and give yourself space. So in this in particular verse right here, in the context of it, Yah is telling them, don't give any space. Okay. This hishmaru means to guard to yourselves lest you open your hearts and you will turn and serve. There's that word, avad. Serve them, the Elohim. I don't want you to serve those Elohim, any other Elohim. But what it is that you and I have a responsibility, because this was a command to guard. So he's letting us know, if you don't guard, okay, if you're not guarding Shamar, if you're not guarding your mind, you're going to be open and give space to other gods. And you're going to become a servant to them. Okay. So how should one guard their minds? How should they give this? How can we guard it? The way that we guard it is by following and obeying what the Most High says. Guarding it means that you're going to take out the time and understand what he says, and you're going to do what he says. Yahweh's anger, he says, if you don't do this, what's happening is Yahweh's anger will flare up against you if you don't guard. Okay, if you don't guard, he's going to flare up against you. He's going to shut up the skies so that there'll be no rain. What if you don't keep the commandments? And the ground will not yield its produce, meaning it's taval or tavula, and it won't yield because of the rain. So here's the other word for rain called a matar. Matar. Okay. And you will soon perish from the good land the Yah is assigning to you if you don't guard and if you make space. Okay. So rain is a big deal. In the book of Jeremiah, it tells us something about the rain. Okay. It tells us something about the seasons. Yah had told his people that they were, I didn't put it in here, but he said, you guys are stupid. Okay. Meaning you're not, you're kasel. Okay. And kasel means that you've covered your mind. That means that you've covered up from learning. You don't want to learn. Like, I'm trying to teach you about me, but you don't want to learn. Okay. So what you do is you become stupid and you become a fool because you don't want to listen to what I'm saying. You don't want to obey what I'm saying. And this is the reason why he said they have not said to themselves, let us revere and fear Yahweh, our Elohim, who gives the rain, the early and late rain in its season. The early rain is the rain that is in the fall. Just the opposite of what we thought. And the late rain is the spring. So Yah's going to give the waters in the fall season, and then he's going to follow up with his last little boost in the spring. And remember, he keeps his eye on his land all the time. But they were so foolish and so dumb that they were like, we're not going to even ask ourselves, or haven't even said to themselves, let's fear Yah. Let's give Yah the fear that he's asking us, meaning let's learn from the Most High, because he's the one who keeps for our benefit the weeks appointed for the harvest. Because being Israel has to do with cycles, okay? So if we're in our proper cycle and we're on the right frequency, okay, and we're in alignment with the Most High, things will work out to our benefit, okay? So this is not something that just applies to them, and this is just a Bible study where you get to find out, you know, that he cut the rain off, and you're saying, well, what does that mean to me? Well, Yah's letting us know that you're in a cycle, and just like the seasons are, okay? And if you don't obey what I'm saying, then things are not going to be well with you, and you're going to change the frequency, meaning you're going to change the channel, and you're going to emit a different type of vibration. And when that vibration comes, it will demand the vibrations that we put off in life, demand that same vibration coming back to us. Everything was created based on Yah's word. Okay. And so when we talk about when they did not say to themselves, let's fear Yahweh, they've never said this. Okay. They never said it. I wanted to bring out what the weeks appointed for harvest means. That's the word that we have in our Torah portion called kukothai. But here he says the kukoth. The kukoth are the appointed decrees. That was what's appointed. So the Most High is saying that when I gave the seasons and I gave the rains in its season, the harvest has what they call a kukim or a kukoth. It means that there's attached to it decrees. So obviously, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, it changes the frequency. Israel disobedience has changed what Yah's intention was for the land. And often, a lot of times when we do things that Most High doesn't want us to do, we're changing things. We're making things go a certain way. We don't want to take responsibility for that. We think we're just on this earth and we could just eat, live, cry, fight, and all this kind of stuff. The things that we do impact the world, and they impact our families, and they impact ourselves. And as a result, these behaviors and actions and words and deeds can then transmit to other people. It's not just holiness that can be transmitted to someone. It's also negative energy that can be transferred to someone, a negative frequency that can be transferred to someone. This is what the Most High said in our Torah portion about don't oppress each other. And he was talking about mentally how we would talk to each other and how we make each other feel. Why? Because we're Yah's servants. Yah has not called anybody into being in his family to be a people that is going to cause more oppression. I delivered you from your oppression. Well, Dawid, I'm still in my oppression right now. Yes, we are. And as it is a result of the behaviors and the actions that our ancestors decided to take. That's the reason why Yah has caused us to circle back and to look at where our failures are. Our biggest failure is, number one, not listening to Yah. Okay? Going about to do what we want to do. That's the problem. And as a result of that, right? So we don't listen. And as a result of not listening, we won't get the information. So no one knows that, the seasons are decrees. The sun and the moon and the stars have decrees. The Most High said that they're kukim. So the decrees are not just attached to the sun, the moon, and the stars. They're attached to the seasons. They're attached to everything, the weather. You see? So Yah is the one who gives everything to us. He's the master. Okay? So that's the reason why this is important. But Yah had told them something. He said, it is your iniquities that have diverted these things. Meaning they've changed the seasons because of their awon, okay? Their awonothe, their perverseness, their perversities have done these things. It's your sins that have withheld the bounty from you. It's our sins that causes things to be restrained from our lives. This Torah portion is about flowing. It's about water flowing. It's about fruits flowing. It's about people flowing. It's about wealth flowing. But you notice in the Torah portion, it talked about if a person sold their house behind a wall, they were not able to buy that. They would have 1 year to redeem that house behind a city wall. And I asked myself, well, why? Why, if it's in a field, they can go all the way to Yuval, but here behind a wall, they only have 1 year? It puzzled me until I understand what a wall was. The same letters that are used for a wall is for a ket. Let me put it in white so we can see it. Yah's kukim or kolk. This right here, this ket right here is a wall. And this means gather. That's what a decree is I'm gathering you to my decrees. That which is on the outside is being gathered together. That which is on the inside of the wall versus that which is on the outside of the wall is being gathered together. Okay, that's what a kok is. That's what a decree is. So Yah is saying, I've introduced you to my kukim because now what I'm doing is I'm inviting you behind the wall. In the Torah portion, he talks about this wall like if you buy a house, you only have 1 year to redeem. It's a real estate transaction. Most High, why? Why do they only have? Because there's a wall there. Well, what's the deal? Why is it a wall? Because once something's behind a wall, okay, you just can't keep flowing. It won't allow the flow. There's something that's restraining. There's something withholding it, and it's the wall. That's what he was saying. Okay. So in this idea of restrain and withhold, there won't be any flow. So what the Most High is saying to us is that it's because of your perversities, it's your sins that are causing these things, that's stopping you from flowing. You'll lose your flow. If you lose your flow, you lose your frequency, the right frequency, okay? There's certain vibrations that you have to put off. And if you're in the right spot where you need to be at that time, things are going to work out well for you. You know how they say you're in the right place at the right time? You're not only supposed to be in the right place at the right time, it's not an accident that you were there. It was what they would call, some people don't like it, but it's called destiny. You were supposed to be there. Just like you were supposed to be on this class. You're not here on an accident. This ain't something haphazardly. The reason why you're in this class is because of the frequency. That's what it is. It's the vibrations that you're getting. If I was talking some nonsense to you, you've been gone a long time ago. If I wasn't encouraging you and you finding some value in what we're saying, you would have been off the cycle. You have been gone. You see? So Yah is concerned about frequency. There's a certain amount of frequency that causes the rain. You see, when Yah said he spoke, everything had to do with the frequency. Okay, there's power in Yah's words. Don't lose sight of the fact of when he says my kukim and my mishpatim and my mitzvot and my Torah. We say, well, those are just words. No, they're vibrations. They're vibrations that are built for this people. Okay, and so the goal is to bring it to everybody, not just us, but the whole entire world. But the point again is that it's our iniquities, it's our sins that causes things to be restrained from us. If we want Yah to do something in our life, and we want the flow to go, we're going to have to change the way that we're thinking, and we're going to have to change the way of how we do things. Okay, Yah's decrees are the basis of the flow. There won't be a flow without a kukim, as you just learned. There won't be no rain. There won't be no waters. There won't be no rivers. There won't be no food. There won't be nothing unless Yah's decrees are followed. Within our word, we have our root word, bal, meaning nothing. Nothing. This is what the root of yoval is, nothing. Well, I thought yoval was flow. Yes, it is. But sometimes things can flow and they become nothing. Ball means to come to nothing when effort is given. How many times have you and I spent our time and our energy and our resources and our money on things that came to nothing? How many relationships have we invested in and they came to nothing? Yah's letting us know something about this yoval, about this flow. There's a positive aspect to yoval and there's a negative aspect to it. Just like things can flow towards something, things can flow out of something. Okay, so Yah's letting us know. Okay, and this is the big thing here. You and I want to be careful that anything that we do, you do not want it to become to nothing. Okay, and that's something that Yah wants to share with us. Within this family of Baal, you have this in particular child called Haval. Okay, like Taval was the earth was flowing. Remember? I don't want you to lose sight. Remember, we had the Taval. We have Yoval. Come on. This thing will make me mad. We have a whole bunch of words. Okay. But it all shares something about flowing. Okay. So the idea is flowing. Now, the stuff is not flowing to. Now things are flowing out or away, which our root, again, has to do with becoming empty. Something flows out, it's empty. Okay. Flowing out, away from the contents. So this is something that the Most High wants to share about what can happen. All right. So this word haval here has to do with the flowing out of contents. Haval also has this idea of being void, because once something comes out of it, the usefulness of it is gone. It means it's vain. It's for no point at all. That means that, I'm not able to do what I anticipated. I'm not able to use this thing as I used to, or I want to. So when we look at our lives, you want to find out whether or not you have the ability to achieve, okay? Because haval is the inability to what? To achieve an intended purpose and have a desired outcome. This is what the Most High is letting us know as his people. If you and I do not follow the Most High, and we don't follow his kukothai, and we find reasons to sin and continue to be perverted, you and I will not be able to achieve the intended purpose of why you and I were created. Therefore, you and I will not have the outcomes that the Most High has intended for us. And that is as simple as it gets. This is not magic, people. This is a matter of us understanding who you are and whom's you are. Okay. We opened this teaching up with talking about we're Yah's servants and we're his slaves. We don't own anything. Everything is his. You and I are nothing but nomads. That's all we are. We are traveling from place to place to place and have nowhere to really rest, a home that we can call our own. The Most High takes a group of people that are slaves and brings them to his land and establishes them there and says that I want to live among you and I want to walk among you. That's what I want. And I want my house to be among you. But here are the rules. Okay. But he tells us in our Torah portion, but if you do not obey me, I'm your master. If you don't obey me and you do not observe all the commandments, and if you reject my laws and spurn my rulings, hate my rules, okay, reject my kukim, so that you do not observe, meaning do all my commandments, and you break my covenant, you stump on my covenant like a ox steps on grain, I in turn will do this to you. I will wreak misery upon you, consumption, fever, and which cause the eyes to pine and the body to languish, and you shall sow your seed to no purpose. It's going to be in vain. Your enemies shall eat it. This is what we found in Leviticus chapter number 26. This word that he has here for consumption right here is called, let me put it here. It has a connection to the word haval. And this one is called, they switch the letters around. And it's called Bahala. It's called Bahala. Bahala. And that's that consumption. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to consume. I'm going to make you go thin. I'm going to thin you out now. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to do that through food. I'm going to cause your body to become sick. I'm going to give you fever. I'm going to make your eyes pine away and your body is going to languish. So Yah's letting us know the severity of you not obeying what I said. Our master is telling us that I'm not your friend. I know they told you in the book of Isaiah in English that Abraham was my friend, which I showed you earlier that is not true. He said that he loved Abraham. You understand? So the relationship is based on Yah's love, okay? So Yah doesn't have any friends. Yah is a master, okay? And you and I are his servants. So if you don't do what I say, I'm going to bring you down. I'm bringing your body down. And when you try to stop this from happening, it's going to be all in vain. Everything about it is going to flow out. Okay. So the flow has to do with you doing what I say. If you don't do what I'm saying, everything will flow, but it's going to be in vain. It's going to come to nothing. Okay. Which goes back to the root of ball, meaning emptiness for nothing, flowing out with no purpose. Okay. So he said to me, this is what Yah said. This is in the book of Isaiah, just to kind of let us know what the Most High is saying to us. He said, you are my servant, Israel, through whom I will show my glory. But I said, and this is what Israel said, I have toiled in vain. I've spent my strength for nothing, futility. Yet my cause is with Yahweh, my reward is with my Elohim. When I read this and I thought about it, and it said that it was futility, there's like 3 different words that are being used in the Hebrew here that that really show some emptiness. So it's just not futility here, but he says that I've toiled in vain, right? And then vainness and nothing and futility. So there's 3, and he's using 3 different words, okay? So the futility right here is for haval. There's another one over here for which is in vain, which is called rik. Okay. And then I forgot the other one. But at any rate, what it was saying is everything about their life was for nothing. Okay. This word haval here in the futility, and he said, I spent my strength for nothing. This futility is my which is a cool thing to know. My breath, a flowing. There is a man that's named Haval in Genesis. You will know him as Abel, Cain and Abel, but his real name in Hebrew is called Havel. That's his name, okay? Or Havel, I think it's Havel, not Haval. Havel, and Havel means the breath. That's what his name means. So in context, Havel or Haval has to do with breath. So all the time in which they were spending all of their strength and all of their breath, Yah says, all that you've done, all the panting for air and lifting up those heavy loads and breaking up the ground and, all these things and, was for nothing. So he's telling us that all the preparation that you're going to do for your fields, okay, is for nothing. So you and I don't have any fields, we don't have any lands right now. So you and I would say, well, this doesn't apply to me. Well, that's for the stupid person. That's for a person who doesn't think. That's for a person who's not understanding. Okay. I'm not trying to insult. I'm just telling you that's for the dumb person. The person who understands this is the person who knows that they're made from the dust. And they know that they're like the field. They know that they have ability to bring forth good and to bring forth bad. They know that they need water. They know that they have to have times of preparation. They understand that there's seasons. Okay. Meaning like, you know what? If I prepare my mind, your field is your mind. Okay. That's what your field is. That's where everything happens. So if you and I spend our lives, okay, preparing, right, in preparation, we're going to have to prepare our minds in a way that we understand that there is going to be cyclical, there's going to be seasons, okay? But you don't want to do all this for nothing. You don't want your life to be nothing but futility. You don't want your life not to have a purpose. Your thoughts is everything, the seeds that you've been planting. And you need a certain amount of water, and you need a certain amount of sunlight. You need a certain amount of preparation in the minerals. You need all those different things to make that grow and to come about, for it to be fruitful. Nobody exists in the world without the ability to be able to produce fruit. Nobody. You could do that in your mind. You could do it in your body. Yah has shown that to us, that the men carry the seeds. But Yah is letting us know, don't let your life become nothing but futility. Don't spend your breath and all the time of your preparation and all the work that you've done for nothing. There has to be a goal. There has to be a harvest. There has to be something that's left over. You see? And so the thing is that Israel understood this. Now, this is something that's prophetically telling us that, and you can know your future by your past. You see? So this servant, Yisrael, Yah has given us a clue how we should start thinking. I have toiled in vain. I spent my strength for nothing. That's what they're going to say. That's what the nation's going to say. This is what they're saying to their master. But listen what Yah says. In an hour of favor, I answer you. On a day of salvation, I help you. I created you and appointed you a covenant people, restoring the land, allotting anew the desolate holdings, and saying to the prisoners, go free, like our Yovel. To those who are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall pasture along the roads, and every bare height shall be their pasture, meaning there's growth and there's opportunity. And within that same chapter, the Most High tells us that there is a time. There's an hour, okay, of favor. Right here, there's an hour of favor. Literally a time. And on that time, there's an hour, but on that hour is going to be in a day. And that day is going to be the day of salvation. And that's when Yahweh is going to give an answer, or what you would say, a response to our cry. The reason why Israel has said that I've toiled in vain, I spent, everything has been vain, and I'm nothing but futility, meaning I've wasted my breath on everything, is simply because Israel has came to a point of not having any strength. All of their strength has flowed out of them. Remember, this is about flow. So all of the strength has flowed out of Israel. And the Most High has allowed us to let this strength flow out of us. That's the reason why he said in our Torah portion, you won't be able to stand against your enemy. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do this to you. Because you have allowed your strength to flow out of you. It is not until all of our strength is gone, and at that time, that's when you and I are going to receive our salvation. When Yah sees that we don't have any more strength left. Because the goal is for Yahweh to become our strength. Yah is wise. Yah precedes all understanding. Yah is magnificent in his counsel. He's allowed his child, his son, to do what he wants to do, knowing that that son is going to become nothing. Yah has allowed it in his love and in his mercy and in his care, because Yah knows that there's a time. Yah knows there's a time when you and I are going to get tired. He knows there's a time when you and I are going to cry out. He knows there's going to be a time when you and I are going to call out for his strength. He knows this about us. And because of that, Yah has appointed a time to respond and answer to us. And that comes when you and I understand that Yah is our strength. He tells us too in the book of Psalms, because he loves me. Who? Yisrael. Whoever decides to join themselves with Yisrael, I will rescue him. Because he knows my name, I will protect him. Why do you mean he knows my name? He's intimate with me. When you talk about you know my name, what do you mean you know my name? You know my name is YAH. Is that going to be the it? Is that the answer? No, it's not. Do you remember all the times that he said, I need Yahweh? Remember over the last few weeks, we've been saying, I need Yahweh. Every time he says, Son of Biba Kadosh, I need Yahweh. He says, you shall fear me because I'm Ani Yahweh. I'm your Elohim. To know Yah is to do what Yah says. To know Yah is not just to know the letters of his name. To know him is to know that you and I can't make a loan with interest. To know Yah means that we understand that we're his servants. To know Yah means that we understand the land is his. To know Yah means that we got to keep the Shabbat. To know Yah, hallelujah, why? We know that we have a prescribed diet. To know Yah, we honor our fathers and our mothers. To know Yah, we have no other Elohim before him. To know Yah, we don't steal. To know him, we walk in righteousness. To know him, we don't lie and we don't covet. To know him, we don't rob and we don't steal. That's to know Yah. That's to know Yah. That's to know his name. And because if we know his name, he said, I will protect him. He will call on me and I will what? I will answer him. When? At the appropriate time. I will be with him when he's in trouble, because that's when Yah shows up. And I will extricate him and bring him honor. I will satisfy him with a long life and show him my salvation. Praise be to the mighty Yah. Him is talking about the nation of Israel, which includes our brothers and our sisters, our babies, our men, our women, our Zakar and our Nekeva, our old and our young. Praise be to the living Elohim, because he loves me. Because he kashak. That word love is not ahav. That word is not ahav. Ahav is love in Hebrew. It's not ahav. It's not ahav. It's kashak. What do you mean? You say that he loves me? He attached himself to me. That's what he did. That's what he did. He and she, what they did was they detached themselves like you would attach a saddle to a horse or a donkey. And then once you put that saddle on, they would bind it. They bound themselves with me. So wherever I was going, they're going. Whatever I say, they do. They attach themselves to me. They didn't attach themselves to other gods. They didn't attach themselves to religious service. They didn't attach themselves to the things of the enemies that they're surrounded by. They didn't attach themselves to houses. They didn't attach themselves to money. They didn't attach themselves to cars. They did not attach themselves to lust. They attached themselves to me. They attached themselves to the Torah, the Mishpatim, the Kukim. They attached themselves to the Moedim. They attached themselves to the Shabbats. And because of that, that's because he knows my name. Because if you know my name, then you'll know what my expectations are. You can't say you know me and you don't do what I say. You can't say that you've attached to me and every time I turn around, you're trying to figure out how not to keep the Shabbat. You're trying to figure out when you can go do what you want to do. You're trying to justify why you're doing what you're doing. No, it's because he loves me. I will rescue him. Thus saith Yahweh, who is creating the heavens. You hear me? The Elohim who's shaping and making the earth. I thought the heavens were already made. I thought the earth was already made. Who established and created it not to be chaos, but formed it to be lived in. Oh, that's why you made and shaped the heavens and the earth? So it can be lived in? Oh, yeah. I am Yahweh. There is no other. I did not speak in secret in the land of darkness. I did not say to the descendants of Yaakov, it is in vain. Here's another word for vain called tahu. Say it. Tahu. Tahu. It is tahu that you will seek me. To seek Yah means you're looking for an answer. I, Yahweh, speak rightly. I say what is true. I didn't tell you to seek me for tahu. So why did the Most High mention I'm creating the heavens and shaping the earth? Why is he saying that he's creating it? Participling it. Because every single day is brand new. The skies are not the same. The heavens, the clouds are not in the formation they were yesterday or the day before, the day before, the day before. There never has been a day that it is today. And there never will be after this. Praise be to the mighty Yah. When I'm shaping and making the earth and everything upon it, it's all new. Something that the Christians and the Christians and the Muslims and the Buddhists don't want to happen. There's babies that are being born. There's animals that are being born. There's things that are coming out of cocoons. There's things that are coming out of the ground. There's something that's coming out of the earth. There's fish that are being brought forth. There's plants and animal life and bacteria. They're all coming. Even in the heavens, the stars are dying and there's new ones being born. I'm the one who established and created it not to be in chaos, but for it to be lived in. Why is Yah telling this? Why is he saying this? Why is he telling this to the children of Israel? Why is he saying, I didn't tell you to speak, you're looking, and I'm speaking to you in vain. You're seeking me in vain. Why would he use the word Tohu? Well, the first time Tohu is used is in the beginning. This is the reason why he said this right here. Isaiah 45 for your record. He says this in Isaiah 45, verse number 19. He mentions this. I said, yeah, why are you talking about this? Why do you describe yourself as creating and shaping and making and all that? And you use the word Tahu. Go back and look at when the first time I used it. I used it when Elohim began to fill, not create. I filled the earth. When he came here, the earth had already been in existence. It was here. He made it, yes, but at one point it was void. Earth was being unformed and void with darkness over the surface of the deep and a wind from Elohim sweeping over the water. And everything that he filled the heavens with the sun, the moon, and the stars. He filled the heavens with the waters. He filled the earth with the plants. He made everything come out. The land was here. He just uncovered it. But it was his making. So when he talks about emptiness, he's letting us know, when I told you to seek me and you're not seeking me, you need to understand that when I came and I did what I did to the earth, I didn't do it for no reason. And I'm telling you the same thing. The earth where you come from was unformed and it was void. It was empty. And had darkness over the surface of the deep, and the wind of Elohim, the Ruach of Yah, swept over that water. And Yah said, let there be light. And there was light. This was on the first day. These are the first words that the Most High said. So when I tell you that it is not in vain that you seek me, it's not in vain that you're looking for an answer to me, I'm thinking just the way that the earth was looking for an answer, so are you. You are void without me. You are in darkness without me. You have no life without me. And because of this, I need to say, let there be. Yea, or. Let there be or. Let there be order. That word right there is not light as the sunlight. That light right there is or, talking about order. That's where you get your English word order. Organization. Yah comes in the earth and finds that it's void. He finds that it's unformed. He finds that it's empty. He says that it's dark. And the only way to get it organized, the only way to bring it to the point where it can sustain itself is I got to introduce light. I got to bring order to that which is empty. I got to fill it. You open your mouth and I'll fill it. Praise be to the mighty Yah. We find in the writings of the Ketuvim, the commandment is a lamp. The mitzvah is a lamp. It is a ner. It is a lamp. The teaching is a light. And the way to life is the rebuke that disciplines. Ki ner mitzvah wa Torah or wa dorek hakayim de tokavitos Masar. It is a light. It is the commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is the light. The Torah is the light. The teaching is the light. You see, and the way to life is the rebuke that disciplines. When Yah talks about the things that he's going to do to people and he disciplines us that you find in chapter number 26, of our Torah portion, Yah says, I'm going to discipline you 7 times if you do this. And if that doesn't get you, I'm going to do it 7 more times again. Then if that doesn't get you, I'm going to do it 7 more times again. And that word discipline right there is called musar. And this word sar right here means turn. The letter is sar, a samak. The rest right here is the head. My desire is to turn your head. You're going in the wrong direction. I'm going to turn your head to go to the right direction. And when I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it by telling you and rebuking you and letting you know that what you're doing ain't right. And that's what the Torah does. The Torah is the teacher to tell you and shed light in the darkest place in your life, to tell you that what you're doing ain't right. The Torah is a teacher. The Torah is a rebuker. The Torah is discipline. It's there to turn the head. And what better head to turn than Israel's head? What better head to turn? Because if you're supposed to turn the heads of people, I need to turn your head first. And if for all that you do not obey me, I will go on to discipline you 7-fold for your sins. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rishon, Shani, Shalishi, Ravi'i, Kamishi, Shishi, Shivi'i. I will break your proud glory. I will make your skies like iron and your earth like copper, so that your strength shall be spent to no purpose. I'm going to make it vain. There's energy flowing out of you, but your energy and your flow, because you're on the wrong frequency and you want to do what you want to do, I'm going to break your strength. I'm going to make it for nothing. Your land shall not yield its produce. You won't have any tavua. Your trees of the land yield their fruit. That's not going to happen. Why? Because you don't want to listen. So when things ain't going right in your life, this doesn't have to do just the land. It has to do with us as a people. You got to understand. There was this idea that was found in the Torah portion this week about what they call kari. Okay? Quari. Quari. And quari has to do with the idea of being hostile towards the Most High. He tells us, if you remain hostile towards me and refuse to obey me, I will go on smiting you 7-fold for your sins. This is the second time. Kari means not only hostile, means to be in opposition. Opposition in nature. Be in a direct opposition to become an enemy. That's what hostility is. When a person is showing some opposition of things that you're trying to teach them, or you're trying to guide them or trying to show them, and you're refusing, you're rejecting the Most High, and you're not listening to him, you're being hostile. And that hostility will go ahead and get you whooped. And that's what happened to our ancestors. That means that they were living in a way that was contrary. He says, if these things, and the things that he mentioned that I didn't have time to put in here, he says, the things that I'm going to do to you is I'm going to have the enemies take your stuff. I'm going to have the animals rob you of your children and of your cattle. I'm going to make your roads deserted. I'm going to be hostile. You're hostile? You're going to be hostile towards me? Then I'm going to do some things to you. Okay. And if these things fail to discipline you for me, meaning I'm going to put some things in play, and still you can see, you can still keep going. This is the third time you remain hostile to me, I too will remain hostile to you. I in turn will smite you 7-fold for your sins. That's the third time. So Israel has this hostility. This is evidenced by what we read in our Torah portion. They're very hostile towards the Most High. He says, I'm going to bring the sword against you. Okay? And wreak vengeance for the covenant. There is vengeance for the covenant. There is a requirement for vengeance for the covenant. If the covenant is broken, there is a sword that's attached to the covenant. And if you withdraw into your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into your enemies' hands. The word sword is called korev. And this word right here is called korev. And korev in the Hebrew can also make reference to Mount Sinai. This is where this Torah portion was spoken from. It was spoken from Mount Sinai, which is Mount Korev. So Yah has already told them that I'm going to bring the sword. Every word that the Most High has spoken from Mount Sinai is attached to the sword. There's vengeance for breaking the covenant. Yah is going to wreak vengeance on anybody that has broken this covenant. And that's something that you and I need to understand. And has he brought it forth? Yes, he has. You're not waiting just to get the vengeance. It's already here. He says, when I break your staff of bread, this is part of the vengeance. 10 women shall bake your bread in a single oven. Remember now, things are not flowing now. The frequency has changed. So now the bread is being chopped down. You see? And so you're going to bake your bread in one single oven. Okay. They shall dole it out, your bread by weight, and though you eat, you shall never be satisfied. You won't be satisfied. So everything that was flowing, everything that was there, everything that was available to you, if you don't do what I say and you're going and you're hostile towards me, I'm going to hit you where it hurts. I'm not going to just hit you in your pocket. I'm going to hit you where it really hurts. And you should take this and take note of it. I'm going to hit you in your stomach. Because that's where Yah hits everybody. When I want to get your attention, I'm hitting you in the stomach. I'm taking your food. Okay. And he says, but if despite this, you disobey me and remain hostile, I will act against you in a wrathful hostility. Now you've really made me angry. And I will, for my part, will discipline you sevenfold for your sins. Now, the next discipline that you're about to see is something that you probably never thought can happen. But listen what happens to those who are hostile towards the Most High. Since I broke down your bread and I got rid of your bread and I got rid of your grains and I got rid of all your fruits and I got rid of all the things that were there, all the everything that was flowing out of the land of Taval. Now you're going to do something different. You're going to eat the flesh of your sons and the flesh of your daughters. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And you ask yourself, well, why would the Most High, a loving and caring and merciful Elohim, have his own people eat the flesh of their sons and their daughters? It's a punishment. I'm going to bring you to, well, now everything that you had has flowed out from you. You've become nothing. Now you're useless to me because I can't talk to you. I can't get your attention by nothing. I've disciplined you several times. I told you if you do this 7 times, you do this 7 times, you do this 7 times, you do. And guess what? There comes a time where there's no more whooping. There comes a time where there's no discipline. Why waste discipline on the back of fools? See, people that don't want to learn. There comes a time when something has to be put to an end. So now, who caused this? Israel caused this. This is a result. The Most High did not cause them to break his laws. They broke them because they wanted to. And when they did that, they ate the flesh of your sons and eat the flesh of your daughters. They did. And more than likely, those of us who are online today and as descendants from this family, your family members will probably eat your their sons and daughters. These are the people. This is part of our history. How is it true? Well, we know in Jeremiah tells us in the book of Lamentations that those slain by the sword are better off than those who are dying from hunger. It's better to get killed quick and fast than to die from hunger, since these waste away if it's pierced through for the lack of food from the fields. With their own hands, compassionate women have cooked their own children, and their children became their food when the daughter of my people was destroyed. Yeah. You see? So when we go outside of what Yah says, you should plan on possibly eating your own children. That's not off the table. No pun intended. That's not off the table. Look at here. There's another word with our root in it, our parent root, to become nothing, right here. Look, oh, if I take off that and I would just say, well, here's Taval right here. Here's the earth. Woo, okay, I got you. So this is to be flowing. This means to flow is nothing. And then we added this ith right here. So it's tavlith. Tavlith means to ruin. So this means a complete flowing. Now we're still on the flow. Now we're going to flow away of something by destruction. Okay. So Yah wants us to understand something here. Is that there's things that can flow out, right? But there's things that are going to flow out but because of destruction. So now I'm going to show you what happens when you don't stay in frequency and when you don't follow what I said. I will lay your cities in ruin and make your sanctuaries desolate, and I will not savor your pleasing orders. You can forget about any type of connection between you and I now. It's over, because your sanctuary is a place where you would meet with me and talk, and we'd discuss, and you would praise and lift your hands, and you would make some offerings and so forth and so on. Everything was great, but that's over. And I will scatter among, and you, I will scatter among the nations, and I will unsheathe the sword against you, and your land will become a desolation and your cities a ruin. I'm going to leave your cities, and I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to scatter you. And then I'm also going to put a sword, because that has to follow you. Not that I'm going to kill you only in your land, but as you are departing from the land, I'm going to send that sword against you there too. So this is your master that's talking. This is the creator of the heavens and the earth that's talking. Okay. So when he spoke in the Genesis, this is the same one who's speaking now. So whatever he said is going to happen and has happened. Then shall the land make up for its Shabbats years throughout the time that it was desolate. Okay. Throughout the time that it is desolate, and you are in the land of your enemies, then shall the land rest. Okay. So now the land is going to get her Shabbats and make up for its Shabbat years that it didn't have when you were there. Okay. So the land is in desolation. A lot of people think that the land they call over in Jerusalem or Israel right now is the land. That's not the land. The land is Yah's. The land is completely desolate. No one knows where this land is. Okay. There's a hint that tells us that there's nothing but jackals there. There's no rivers, no nothing. Complete desert. Nothing. Okay. Because the land is supposed to receive her Shabbats while you're gone. Okay. And throughout that time, what time that it is desolate, it shall observe the rest that it did not observe in your Shabbat years while you were dwelling upon it. Okay. She's going to get her rest. Again, the word taval can have a negative meaning. So the first one is the earth, which is a beautiful grass, trees, lush, vegetation. The second part of this is called confusion. Taval can be confusion. It's an action that lacks any results. So not only did Yah intend for us to come to a ruin if we break the covenant, but also too, I'm going to put you into confusion. An action that lacks any results. So anything that you do is going to be confusion. And as for those of you who survive, I will cast a faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies. So I'm not just going to get you while you're in the land. I'm going to get you while you're on your way out of the land. And then when you get to the land of your enemies, I'm going to get you there too. You see? So wherever you are, I'm going to touch you. And the sound of a driven leaf shall put them to flight, fleeing as though from the sword. They shall fall, though none pursues. I'm going to put the fear on you. I'm going to have you in a state of confusion. You ain't going to know if a leaf is, you're going to think something, you hearing a leaf is somebody chasing you. So I'm going to give you mental health problems. I'm going to give you anxiety. I'm going to put fear in you. And all the things that you've done, you're going to be confused completely. And no one pursuing you, with no one pursuing you, they shall stumble over one another as before the sword. Some people ask, well, why was it possible for the nations to come and take the Hebrew Israelites and they never fought back? as strong as they were and as big as they were and as numerous as they were, how did they all get subjugated? Because Yah says that no one's going to pursue you. I'm going to put this toval on you. Okay. You shall not be able to stand your ground before your enemies, meaning you're not going to be able to stand, but shall perish among the nations, and the land of your enemies shall consume you. So there won't be any flow from you. There's nothing but confusion. So now physically I got you, right? Not only am I going to physically not only go eat your kids, but also I'm going to give you confusion of mind. I'm also going to send your enemies constantly after you. You will not be able to stand. This is from your master. This is from the creator of the heavens and the earth. You're not going to be able to stand before your enemies. You will not. So this idea that, we can go do anything, I'm going to take all your strength. I'm going to take all your strength. You won't be able to stand. You'll be in confusion. But there comes a time, like with anything, that we would have to then say, you know what? I've had enough. In the land of our enemies, in this in particular chapter number 26, I believe it begins in verse number 40 of Leviticus, Vayikra. It has this idea of them confessing. And when I read this, of course, I look at the verb tense and how it was used. And the verb says, and they shall. And this right here is called a hithpael. It means it's a reflexive action, meaning they're going to do the action. Okay, get my writing together. They're going to do the action on themselves. I have enough room. So they're the ones who are doing the action. So they're doing the confessing. And they're going to be the ones who are confessing, actively confessing, and then also passively. Okay, so they're going to be active and passive in this, meaning they're going to do the action on themselves. They're going to do something to themselves. Okay. Now, who are they confessing to? See, that's the question. If it's a hithpael, it means to do something on oneself. Okay. So first of all, the first step, if anything, is to understand, and that word confess has to do with this in particular word called yad. Okay. And yad is a hand in Hebrew. Okay. And so what you do with your hand is, you work with your hands, you sow with your hands, you harvest with your hands, you prune with your hands, you touch with your hands, you fight with your hands, you eat with your hands, you hold a weapon, you fight with your hands, you do a whole bunch of stuff. You guard with your hands. Your hands are very important. But the most important part of the hand that you need to understand is that the hand was given to you in order to make confession. Remember, the New Testament says that all you got to do is confess with your mouth. And believe in your heart, and you shall be saved. No, that's not what the Hebrew says. The Hebrew says they shall cause themselves to yad, wahidawah, meaning for them to cause themselves to confess their iniquity. Okay. And the iniquity, and iniquity here is not just the sin, it's called the perversion. It's the twistedness. Okay. And the twistedness is not only just in, the acts that they were doing, but what they were doing was, everyone, which Yah is letting us know, that he wants us to know because we're the descendants of these people, right? That he tells us don't listen to them and don't be like them, is that our ancestors were not only twisted in their actions, okay, but they were actually twisting Yah's words. They were trying to make his words be something that they wanted it to be versus what he said. They were going and adding and subtracting, diminishing from what he said. Number one, the severity of it. That's why he's always warned them. If you saw something, you didn't say anything, you're going to bear the consequences of that. So the perversion, because that's what twistedness is. Okay, so you would think, oh, this is the perversion of just being gay. It's the perversion of being, you don't have any pronoun. You got certain different pronouns. Now you don't know if you're a male or female. The perversion of that way, or just, sleeping with an animal. Those are perverted things. But the perversion of what she's talking about is the perversion of one's mind. And that mind can be as simple as someone saying, I'm going to change and twist God's words so I can make them fit my life. Remember, it's 1.8 million people that he brought out that he had to get them all on the same page. And so all of us are different. We all have our different lives. But the fact of the matter is, Yah's words are 100% consistent. Okay. So this hithpael, this confessing on oneself, is that he wants them to bring it to their own minds. Okay. It's not that he doesn't know. He knows what it is. Okay. So what he's asking them to do is, I need you to do this on yourself. I need you to do that. And also too, I don't want you to only confess that by raising your hands and saying, I'm guilty, but also too, it's the twistiness of your father. So you have your iniquity that you're going to have to deal with, and you have that of your fathers. They got forebears, which is your ancestors, that trespassed against me. Okay. And they were hostile towards me. So the confession part is, you have iniquity, and you're going to confess on yourself. You're going to raise your hands and say, I'm guilty. And you're going to turn around and say, my ancestors were guilty. Not only going to say that they were guilty from their things, but you're also going to say they trespassed against you. They went against you, Yah. And then you're not only going to say that, but you're also going to say they were also hostile towards you. He says me here because he's talking to us. He's letting us know, but we're saying they were hostile towards you. So in your confession, Yah, I confess my iniquity, my perversion of myself that I was taught by the people that were twisted and who turned your words, and also to my ancestors. And I'm also going to say that I'm going to confess that they transgressed, they went past, they presumed against you. And I'm also going to say that they were hostile towards you. Okay. So if we say these things, we would acknowledge these things, cause ourselves to acknowledge these things. That's true confession. Okay. Here's another part that you need to understand of your confession. Yah says, when I, Yahweh, in turn have been okay, and he says, and then you also have to say this, because this is within the same context. When I, in turn, have been hostile to them, you have to acknowledge that Yah has been hostile towards them. You have to acknowledge that Yah has been hostile towards them. You have to acknowledge that Yah removed them and put them in the lands of their enemies. That's what you and I have to acknowledge. The reason why he's saying this is simply because if you and I don't, and I'll go back again, so we can be clear. Someone got a question right quick. Let me see if I can answer. Visual symbolization of Yah opening the door is beautiful. Praise be to the mighty Yah, Lucas. Absolutely. Open the door. Yes. Open the door. That's from Lucas. He just brought it out. Open the door. Listen, you confess the iniquity, yours and that of your ancestors, and that they trespassed against me, and they were hostile towards me. And when I in turn have been hostile to them, you got to confess this too. You got to say, yeah, you've been hostile towards them. And you remove them. You have to say that you remove them. Not that they showed up here on their own, that you removed them. You were hostile towards them in turn. And you turned them and you brought them to the land of their enemies. You're the reason why we're scattered. If you say that, then that's, Yah says, then at last they're uncircumcised, literally their blocked heart, like that wall that we talked about. That wall that has been, that we put up, now has come down. And now we've humbled ourselves. And then he says, and then they're literally a blocked heart will humble itself, and they shall accept for their iniquity. And they shall accept, meaning this yirtzu comes from our word ratza. And ratza, as we learned before, means to desire or to accept or to be pleasing. So here, in terms of its way it's being used, is talking about acceptance. So the fact of the matter is a lot of us, and especially our people, have a hard time coming to an acceptance. They don't want to say that Yah is the one who brought them to their enemies' lands. They don't want to say that they've been hostile towards Yah. They don't want to say that he's been hostile towards them. They don't want to ever think in their mind that Yah has been angry with them. That's why, people in my family have said, God loves me and he's not mad at me. He might be mad at you, but he ain't mad at me. Yah says that he's hostile towards us. And he says, you need to confess that, because once you do that and you come to acceptance of this, then you would understand your situation. Just like in this picture you see, this is the situation. This is the situation. This is your mind. This is how Yah sees us. That's why I put this picture here. I could have had a beautiful picture, what you're going to see in a second, but it's not this picture. This is a picture to show you the state, the situation. This is called the state that you're in. And what you're looking for is to be restored back to your original state. Just like the land is looking to be restored back to her original state, and she has to go through her Shabbats. And it says when she's getting her Shabbats, you are atoning for your sin. Okay? And let me talk about that just a little second here. Now the picture's changed. Why did I change the picture? Because Yah says Zakarti. Okay? And Zakarti means I remembered. Not I will. I remembered. Past tense. Perfect. So when we do what we're supposed to do, right? Yah says, then I remember my covenant with Yaakov, and I will remember also my covenant with Yitzchak, and also my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember the land. Yah remembering the land, it will go from this picture to this. When Yah remembers the covenant with us, we'll go from this to this. Do you understand? That's how it is. And that's all it's ever going to be. Yah says that you are in darkness, and tohu and bohu, that you're in darkness and there is no light. When there's no light, there's no life. He says, I'll make your skies like the iron and your ground like the copper. Everything's going to be in vain. Israel even confesses up to this point, it's all for nothing. So you won't become this. You're going to stay this unless you come to acceptance. Once you accept it, you're going to become this. So if you remember and accept this, then Yah says, I'll remember, and you'll become that. I don't know how to make it any plainer. For the land shall be forsaken of them, making up for Shabbat's years by being desolate of them, while they atone for their iniquity. For the abundant reason they rejected my rules, meaning my kukim, the kukothai, and spurned, hated my laws. Okay, so my mishpatim and my kukothai, they hated me. This is what the land's going to look like until Yah comes back and does it this. You see? So as a result of not loving him and forsaking him and breaking his rules and rejecting what he says, this is what you're going to look like. Remember, the decrees are connected to this. You break the decrees, this is what it is. So Yah has made it very simple for us. Yet, even then, while they're in this situation, when they are in the land of their enemies, because this is what it is to be in your land of your enemies, people. Yeah, you might be eating some fruits and vegetables. You might think everything looks good, but this is what you don't see. This is how Yah sees it. I will not reject them or spurn them so as to destroy them. You might be in this situation right now, but Yah says, I'm not going to reject you and I'm not going to spurn you. Like, remember he said, you hated me. You hated me. You rejected me and my rulings. You hated my kukai. Hated them. You loathed them. Just it irritated you. See? Your ancestors. They passed those savings on to you. God says, because you've done that, I'm not going to do you like that. So guess what? I'm not. I'm not you. I'm not a man. I'm not a human being. Okay? I'm not. Yet, even when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not reject them like they did my commandments. I will not spurn them like they did my kukothai, so as to destroy them, annulling my covenant with them. You broke my covenant, but I ain't broken my covenant with you. Because I need Yahweh. I am Yahweh. I'm their Elohim. See? So in spite of what we do, understand something. That doesn't change the fact that I need Yahweh. I will remember in their favor the covenant with their ancients, their ancestors, whom I freed from the land of Mizraim in the sight of the nations, so that, the sight of the nations to be their Elohim. I am Yahweh. So this is to know his name. Was the Karti the Lehim, the Borith, the Rishonim. I'm going to give the first ones that I brought out right here. They call them the ancients, which are the Rishonim. So I want you to know that I am Yahweh. I'm the one who brought your ancestors out, and I freed them from the land of Mizraim in the sight of many nations. So I'm letting you know that I'm going to do that in the eyes of the nations again. And the reason why I've done this, okay, it's something that you need to know. When it says to be, we understand to be means haya. That means to exist. And so here, lioth, right here, lelohehim, delagim, oh, here you go. Lioth means for existing to them for an Elohim, ani Yahweh. I am Yahweh. I am the one who's going to I freed your ancestors. But also too, not only am I going to remember the land, but I'm also going to remember in the favor of the covenant. The covenant that you guys have broken, I'm not going to break that covenant. I'm going to remember the covenant. So when someone tells you that you got a new covenant, you don't have your new covenant right now. You're still in the covenant that you had. If you weren't in the covenant that you're in right now, then guess what I would have to do to you? I would have to destroy you. I would have to destroy you. And if I did destroy you, I would be breaking my covenant. If I hated you, I would have to destroy you. If I rejected you, I would have to destroy you. I haven't done that to you. So what I'm telling you is, I don't hate you. And what I'm telling you is, I don't spurn you. Okay? But who is this for? It's for those who love me. These are the laws, the rules, and instructions that Yahweh established through Moshe on Mount Sinai with the Israelite people. The Eli, the Hakukim. These are the Hakukim and the Hamishpatim and the Wethoroto. So the instructions, again, is not basic instructions. It is the Torah right here. This is the HaTorah, the instructions. The Kukim are my laws that they have told you that are done away with. My Mishpatim is my rulings, how I see things. And when I say something happens, this is what you do. And here are my instructions, my Torah that I've established through Moshe. When it talks about Moshe, it says, Beno, between him and between the sons of Israel. And so he is given this at Mount Sinai by the hand of Moshe. Okay, Yad. I think our brother Lucas had mentioned to open up the door. But you can't do it unless you possess it. You see? So the possession of the Torah was given as a to Moshe to pass on to us. It was by the hand. That's what it says in Hebrew. See, they don't say it in English. It says through, but it's not through. It's according. You can see it right here. By Yad. With the hand of Moshe on Mount Sinai, on Bahar Sinai. You see? So this is what Yah has designated for us as a people. Praise be to the living Elohim Yahweh for all the good that he has done to our ancestors. Thank him for the teaching. Thank him for all the things that he has done for us. Thank him for his correction. Thank him for the discipline. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, contributions? If not, let's see. I think Rivqua put something together for us. Did you not, Qua?
I did. Take a look.
All right. I'm going to take a look right quick. Okay. And I want you guys to enjoy and participate if you can. And more study here. All right. Let's see. All right, come on. Loading game pin. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. You guys know what to do. Go to www.kahoot.it. I can't join today. That's okay. Praise the mighty Yah, Jeannie. Shabbat shalom. Oh, Lucas. Oh, look at Kent's in the house. That's right, Kent. Kent, you didn't go to a teddy bear, did you? Oh, okay. You put the hat on Kawika. She got pancakes on. Where's my boy, Dr. Uriah? Where's the eagle? Where is the eagle? Where's Kale? There's Ken. She's back in house. Educate. Oh boy, look at, no, she didn't do a bounty rabbit with the snow glasses. Lucas and Kale. Yared. Yared's ready for battle. All right. Let me see here. All right, good. Cool, ready. Let's go. Bahar. What does Bahar mean in English? All right, that's quick. Let's go. Ooh. Now, wait a minute. This is surprising. All right.
McKenna comes out strong right out of the gate.
Look who's behind her. Kent. Kill all the 3Ks. And Kavika. Okay, it's on. Somebody's fingers are moving fast. Uh-oh. What does that mean? Make a calculator. If one lends a non-Israelite foreigner money, can he or she charge interest? Is that a true or false? Type your answer.
That's a yes or no answer.
Okay. Well, you got to let them know because people start thinking, well, what? You know. What should I do? Should I give them the calculations? Oh, strong move. They put Ken all the way at the end. Uh-oh. It's on. Lucas is in the game. Let's go. Let's see if Dr. Ray can hold on. In which month of the day of the 49th year does the Yovel begin? You kind of spelled that kind of weird. Give us the month and the day. Ooh, Uriah has the highest answer streak of 3 in a row. Praise the mighty Yah. Remember, you guys, it's about efficiency. What happens to Yovel or the Yovel here? Oh boy. Wow, it's going on. It's on.
And Lucas comes out of nowhere.
How long does the Levite have to redeem a house in the city? It's very important. Oh boy. Whoo, look at that. This is true or false? Or no,
So
you got
type it. Uh-huh.
how often does the land get a Shabbat? What does it mean to allow the land to rest? You gave some time here, Paul. Yes. Ooh.
Strong move by Ken.
The closer it is to Yovel, the blank one pays to lease the land. You got to type that answer. Is it more? Is it less? What is it? The closer it is to Yovel, the blank one pays to lease the land. See, less or more. All right. Type the answer. What does Bakukothai mean? Bakukothai. Okay, we got one answer. Three answers. That's a tough one, you guys. Oh,
Yes, this game is not for children.
hey. In my laws. Wow.
Who said ham sandwich? Billion. The tithe is equal to blank or what of producing livestock.
This is the type of question that's well suited for fill in the blanks, where there's no possibility of ambiguity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Ooh. All right, let's go. I think we're in our final. Well, no, we got one. What is this? Name the four things Elohim promises the Israelites obey his laws. Put them in order. I like that music on that one, Qua. Come on, you guys. Will the rain be the first? Can no rain, can no crops without no rain. They would have peace and no violence. Typo from mankind.
Oh, it's nice. Let's see. Rains. Okay. Wow, that's a nice question, though. Come on. Name 3 things Elohim promised if Israelites disobeyed. Name 3 things Elohim promised if the Israelites disobeyed.
You only have to name one out of the 3.
Oh, you said name 3. What's going on with you? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. What do we got? Starvation, plagues, terror, be destroyed, death. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Let's see. Let's see who gets it today. 3rd place. Oh, I'm shocked. My little bear buddy Lucas. Ken? Oh my goodness.
Wow. Congratulations, you guys.
Said that her screen went frozen, so you got to give her a little credit. Praise the mighty Yah, everyone. You guys look crazy. What is that? Is she frog? What is she? All right, so let's view. All right, so
I also wanted to tell you guys, if you wanted to go on the Kahoot app, I made all of our quizzes public, so that if you wanted to play them later or if you want to share them, you can.
thank you for that. All right, so you said name the 4 things Elohim promised if the Israelites obeyed his law. And so the correct answer is, or the correct in order would be the rains in their seasons. That's the first thing. Yah promised. So you can't, if you don't have any rain, you're not gonna have any crops. So the thing that follows the rains is the crops. And then after you have the crops, then you will have peace, from violence and wild animals, and then they would bear children and be prosperous. So as you can see, there's a cycle of things that are going on. And then if everything falls in line, then everything works out well. If it doesn't, it could be a problem. What does Pakukothai mean in English? And it means in my laws. That's what it means, in my laws. The B is the in, and the kuko means laws, and then thigh is my. So in my laws. We'll work on that. Not a problem. How often does the land get a Shabbat? The correct answer is every 7 years. Every 7 years, the land gets a Shabbat. Okay, because it's not, you work 6 years, and then the 7th year, and then it goes 7-7. So remember the 49 years? So every 7 years, it gets a Shabbat. Every 7 years. What a wonderful blessing. Here Quad told us that you could have just named one of those things. And so when the Most High, he said, if you disobey, you're going to get the plagues, you're going to get terror, and you're going to get starvation. And so everything that, he's dealing with the emotions of people, but he's also dealing with the body, the physicality. You starve, you start thinking, and I think that's how Yah gets to us, is to say, look, I want you to start thinking. 33% of you guys got this correct, which how long does a Levite have to redeem a house in a city? And the answer to that is as long as he needs, meaning the right of redemption is always to him. So Yuval doesn't affect him. Anything that he owns is always going to be his, and that's because he belongs to the Most High, and he's already been consecrated by the Most High, which gives us a clue about what's going to happen to us. Like as being Yah, being close to Yah, there's some benefits to being close to him. And as you can see, there are some exceptions to these kukim for those who are in a position that are really close to the Most High in terms of a Levim. So they don't have to, wait. They can always get their stuff back, because basically that's all they had. So their possessions is what they own, which is their house. Their fields can never be sold, because that's Yah has given them so they can grow their crops and help feed their animals. But they're actively part of that. 33% you guys got this correct as well. What does it mean to allow the land to rest? The answer is no planting, no pruning, no plowing, no farming, or any of those things. So no type of work that could be done to the land, it's for his rest. Also too, I would like to add that, we should look at not only how does this, affect the land, but also too, how does it affect us? How does this really affect us as a people, as your mind? So give yourself